why develop it at an arm and a leg when you can literally develop it at a fraction of the cost?
Delivering, we're able to offer 40 to 70% cheaper than what's typically offered in the UK.
We're addressing gaps in talent. We're addressing the gap in opportunity by ensuring that people have access to this, and we're addressing the cost issue that people face this side of the world.
Literally sounds like a win-win-win.
What's your favorite podcast?
It's the diary of a CEO.
Man, you stole the one I was going to say. Like what are you talking about?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
much of what we've learned and the way we're approaching business is through that. Because I always say it, knowledge is power, right? You don't know what you don't know, right? If
Yeah.
you don't know that, you don't know it. So knowledge is power, and
Exactly.
I really enjoy the diary.
Favorite books ever is The Code of the Extraordinary Mind by Vishen Lakhiani. It has helped me in expanding my mind to the possibilities of what can be done, because we often put ourselves into boxes. Welcome to Fraction Solutions Podcast. I'm here with the co-founder of Fraction Solution, Gareth, and myself. My name is Rufaro, and we're going to go deep into what is Fraction and what are we all about today. So the first question is going to go out to Gareth, the co-founder, one of the co-founders. And it's, who are we? What is Fraction Solutions? How do we describe ourselves in a simple and clear way?
Cool, thanks, Rufaro. Really grateful to everyone for joining this. Our little intro about what we got going on here. Really exciting stuff. So, what we are at Fraction Solutions is we are a essentially a tech company, but more described as a tech outsourcing business because we're working with clients in the UK and the Netherlands who are looking at software projects to be built across a number of different sectors and different kind of products, looking at more cutting edge stuff like blockchain, looking at basic stuff like websites. We have expertise that do it all. And Rufaro, where's our expertise?
That expertise is in Zimbabwe.
Yeah,
And this is why we think we have the capacity to deliver, because they have experience, we have the connection, and we're trying to bridge that.
exactly. And that's where our real edge is, right? That's where we're able to actually eat up the some of the market share in the Netherlands and the UK because we essentially provide the same quality of service because we're working with developers 10, 15, 20 years of experience, but then we offer a fraction of the cost. Hence the name.
Exactly. That's the name of the thing.
So of course we've got to say that is why we went for that name. So that's kind of an intro. Then more than anything, what we're looking at is tailoring our services for the underdog. Underdogs
Exactly.
being small and medium-sized organizations, right? Because a fraction of the cost, that cost cutting benefits them the most. The big players, the big tech companies, the big industries, they don't benefit from that as much because that might be pocket change. But for the small guy, the underdog who's ambitious as an innovator, and I can imagine that's before I feel like that would be a lot of our audience, right? A lot of people who actually tune into this. I would say a
Yeah,
lot of it's
exactly.
going to be tailored for people like you who have an ambition, who are ambitious, and you have an idea that you want to bring to life, but then you don't have the typical budget to just bring that whole product to life. That's what we're here for. We're finding a way to even up the playing field.
Exactly. Like, we're trying to make sure that you, as the underdog, are able to compete. We give that quality to you, and in the age of globalization, it's important that we use all our resources. We give trust, security, and reliability in the way we do our processes and everything. So that's a key element in us being able to progress forward with any project and help any small to medium sized business. And just like Guy said, we're here to be supportive to you and your business. And that is the essence of Fraction Solutions, that you're trying to compete and we can help you with that by cutting costs and delivering the same quality.
Yeah, 100%. That with some of these terms for someone who might be kicking off their any kind of journey and not particularly exposed to really having an idea, how can we make our business sound a bit more relatable for
So I'd say that to make our business more relatable, think of it as, who are the biggest like software developers? I think we know like consultants, for example, like Accenture. and these big consultants. They offer consulting to big companies that want to do big, massive digital transformation projects, but they won't really work with someone who doesn't have the budget to execute this. We are like an extension of some sort where we come in, we help you develop your strategy, we look at what your business outcomes are, and then we start helping you to develop it. So we actually take it a step further, right? And then we work with these developers with a lot of experience to really push the agenda out there that you have experience on your side. So we're not just coming in with our little experience, we're partnering with people with experience. So we develop a good product, a good tech product for you and what your vision is.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of it, right? We're not just like doing software development, like you come to us with an idea and we just implement that. We view ourselves more as also, like you said, a consultancy, right? We blend those two, but then we don't really charge for the consultancy time, do we? That's just because we love our clients. We actually don't charge for that. We literally, whenever we have so many entrepreneurs, sending people come to us with raw ideas as it is when you've never been on this journey, right?
Yeah.
We are early in the journey, but we're gaining so much experience because of working with different clients and also with a certain type of background, right? My background also, I'm a software engineer, so being in the tech space, thinking of that perspective, like how you take an idea, you think of it as a digital solution, how we can test that, how we can work on that, how we can get that speed to market, you know, to be able to get that quickly. So that's like some of the skill sets, and of course, Rufaro brings his own set of skills to it for us to be that strong consultancy foundation also. But then obviously once we're past that, the development part of it is also unlocked.
Exactly. So the skill set that we all have is that Gareth, for example, his background in software engineering. I have my background in digital business, and with this background together, we are able to support companies because we understand the vision, but we also understand how to ensure quality because there's the technical and there's the business. We have both. So
Yeah,
as founders, we came together and were like, I've got one skill set, he's got one skill set. How can we make this work to build a good business? And
yeah,
that's typically the story of founders. There's a technical co-founder, there's a business guy.
yeah,
It's a simple equation that many people actually get wrong, but it's a
literally.
simple thing to implement, you know?
But while we're on that note, it'll be quite interesting for the read to for the listeners to hear it also, right? How did this even come to be? And people probably have questions, right? Like why are we having to record a podcast digitally? Why are we not literally in the same place? So tell us a bit about that, Rufara. Like how did Fraction actually come to be and what?
Yeah, I can elaborate on that. So actually, so me and Gareth, if you wanna take a trip down memory lane, we go way back. We went to high school together at Peterhouse Boys School, a private school in Zimbabwe. And yeah, there we became really close friends. And now we both went to university, and Gareth went to university in the UK, and I'm in university in the Netherlands. And we were just saying like, oh, let's have a trip. He came to the Netherlands. We were having fun as the boys, and as boys do, we started talking shop. We started talking shop.
Yeah.
Started being talked about, and we're like, wait a minute, why don't we start a business? And then we started talking about how there's this great potential to outsource tech projects to Zimbabwe. And when we said this, we're like, but we don't want to be the typical outsourcing organization where you just outsource, everything is done, and you just receive a finished product. We want it to be integrated into the entire process, involve the client thoroughly, and to create this element of trust that we are based here, but we also collaborate with the developers back home. And that helps us to ensure quality and a lot of different processes. So when we were ideating this idea and really diving into it, we were like, what elements do we need to succeed? Just before we went on a trip to Croatia. But yeah, it then
Yeah.
fleshed itself out from there. I mean, we can elaborate on how we ended up getting to this point as well, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, we can't, none of this would be possible without our partners, our very, very competent developers in Zimbabwe. They've made our lives easy, haven't they?
Yeah, for
They've
sure.
made it so easy. They're good at what we do, and it's a win-win situation, right? Because
Yeah, exactly.
we're offering them business and also revenue, that a new revenue stream that's significantly more than they can have. Getting this exposure to like these projects in the UK and the Netherlands, it's a different kind of it's a different kind of level, different kind of income that typically wouldn't be available for Zim development. So it excites me. It excites me, right? The untapped potential there also that there is for us to expand. But I guess a bit on expansion later, right? Let me not jump.
Yeah, but like actually, like now that you mention it, like why is the Zimbabwean talent pool very important for us to tap into? Why should we even be focusing there? Like,
So yeah, that's it's such a good question, but it's like I feel like shouldn't even be a question that we need to ask. Like it's because people don't know. We know because we grew up there, but people do not know how intelligent and how very educated Zimbabweans actually are, right? It's such
yeah,
an untapped talent pool. It's such an untapped.
uh,
Oh, yeah. It's such
yeah,
an untapped pool of talent with so many people who are competent, right? So it's so important for us because we see what they can, we already know what they can do, and we're giving them exposure. We're now bringing them to the forefront, right? Because
yeah,
many people might not see it now, right? But we're positioning ourselves in such a way that we're the front runners. Africa is the next place for digital business and being the source of it, right? And
yeah,
we're making sure that Zimbabwe right now, the conversations, people know a bit about Kenya, people know a bit about Rwanda. Zimbabwe is a bit behind, but we're doing our part to level that. And when Africa is now viewed as that digital hub, we're making sure that when those conversations, because there's so many people, it's so much talent, it's not saturated like it is in the UK, in America, and Canada. These are the industries that I'm so familiar with now, right? There's such
yeah.
a shortage of talent. There's so many companies that are fighting for the same people, trying to
Exactly.
fight tooth and nail for the same people. And here we are, far in the very fortunate situation where we've got more than we can even use.
Exactly. That's the entire point. Africa has a young population. I think we're talking. I saw a statistic somewhere that said the average age of an African is like about 17 to 19, and that there's a very young population at the moment, and everyone is learning, growing, and getting into these degrees, but there's a lack of opportunity, which is the gap we're actually trying to address by
Yeah.
starting Fraction Solutions, because we're addressing gaps in talent, we're addressing the gap in opportunity by ensuring that people have access to this, and we're addressing the cost issue that people face this side of the world. People are developing products at way too high for cost when they could literally develop it for lower. And in this globalized world, why not take the opportunity to do it? It's the time.
100%.
The time is now. The time is now because you want to develop your IT product. You want to develop your next big thing. Why develop it at an arm and a leg when you can literally develop it at a fraction of the cost?
You know, that literally sounds like a win-win-win. I don't know how there's any disadvantage of it, but I'll be keen. Anyone who's listening, if you can pick our brains and actually tell us what is the downside of this, we'll definitely be keen to hear that because when we look at what we've got going on here, we've tested the business, of course, we've really talked about it, and we don't see how it's not a win for everyone who gets involved, you know? It's really exciting what we're doing. Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah.
So we've somewhat discussed it, right? But what are some of the factors that were really what are the key parts of what we're doing here that differentiates us? If someone is listening to this or someone comes across us and they're contemplating going with us or maybe just going to another IT company in the UK. What's actually our cutting edge? Some of our factors.
Yeah, no, you bring up a very valid point to bring up. I would say, if you understand it, we're not the typical outsourcing business.
Yeah,
So, number one, the business structure that we have is that we have a legal entity in the UK. That legal entity allows us to collaborate with companies that want to build IT products and also hold us accountable and create this reputation and trust that people need to work with an outsourcing company. We also have a subsequent legal entity in Zimbabwe for us to be able to handle the developers that we do work with.
yeah,
This this legal structure that we've created creates a huge element of trust for everyone involved. The developers, the companies we work with in the UK and the Netherlands, all across Europe, all across the world. These are the structures that allow us to be able to implement an effective trust culture across all our partners. This
100%.
is one of the biggest differentiating factors. Plus the fact that we are here, us, we are the international version of things. I don't know how to say it. Like we are globalized. We have a difference in culture.
We're the
Maybe you
ones
can
in
pick
the
it.
middle. Yeah. We're basically that bridge, right? We're the
Yeah,
ones who
exactly.
connected it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I really like the points that you brought up. There is that certain stigma for good reason with some of the outsourcing, right? That we've had to
Yeah,
break down. And we always tell our clients, like what you said, because we're here, right? You have that assurance of quality, and we're telling you the backgrounds that we're coming from, the stuff that we do. We know the kind of quality that our clients will want. We know exactly how to bring that out of our developers. So we're breaking those stigmas and we're showing that it is actually what really differentiates us and give a platform to actually work with businesses and give them that chance to actually be empowered to succeed, level the playing
yeah.
field, right?
Because we have to reduce those barriers to entry. It's the
Exactly.
truth.
Exactly.
Because the barriers to entry in tech, they're getting lower and lower and lower, and we're trying to make it even lower so that everyone can have access to it. Everyone deserves to develop their dream at a
Oh
fraction
yeah.
of the cost.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like even if it's not at a fraction of the cost, at least let them have access to developers that are of very good expertise and willing and more than eager to help.
Oh
You know
yeah.
what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not even just about the cost, because we talk about cost a lot here, but it's actually more about the quality. The
Yeah.
developers we have worked for many years, maybe 10 to 15 plus years. So
Yeah.
they know what they're doing. You're not working with an amateur developer. You're not working with someone who's just started out. You're working with
Yeah.
people who have experience in the game.
Yeah. And what's so nice about that nature of the experience, right? So because we take on so many different projects, right? Sometimes we get a client who wants an e-commerce website that doesn't take anyone more than 5 years of experience in web development, right? We have that, but we also have 20 years of custom software development. So we're an all-in-one partner for any kind of project that you need. And some of the benefits of that, right, is Rufaro, you can also we've had clients that it's come in as a small project that looks like it was just gonna take us maybe like a month or two. But then the MVP, because we're so good at implementing and we're so quick to market, and we give the client that kind of consultancy piece where we tell them how you can test this in market, how you can get the kind of feedback that you need. It's grown into so much bigger that maybe the initial expertise wouldn't have been able to take on if you just went to a basic developer, basic freelancer. But then we're always able to grow with you, we're able to scale with you, and take you along that journey. We're building partnerships here with our clients that are
Exactly.
long term. We don't see completing the project and it ends there. We try to be with you all through the life cycle. We are your business partners for as long as you want to make it.
Exactly. So yeah, like Garrett said, long term.
Yeah.
That's we're not here to build something small and finish it. We want to help you from MVP, prototype, MVP, large scale development. We are that kind of partner. We're not some small tech shop.
Yeah.
We're trying to actually build, once again, your dream product.
Oh yeah. 100%.
But now, like we've talked a lot about our business. I feel like they need to know us a little bit more. Like who's Gareth, who's Rufaro, why are we important, and why should they listen to us? Like so. I feel like this is like one of those where I ask you, Gareth, like why should someone listen to us? Why should they listen to you? You know?
There's it's always interesting when you're in these space and you start a business when because we're both of the same age, right? We're both 24. There's an easy point to maybe possibly look at us and think like what do we know, right? But
Yeah, exactly.
this is stuff that we've done our research and we are in the field. Like I want to take it back to like the technical skills, right?
Yeah,
Tech has become so accessible that as a software engineer for myself, I can have such a broad range of skills that allows me to understand the products across all the industries. I don't need to be better than my developers because that's why they're the ones who do that work, right? But
yeah,
what it really brings is that understanding when I talk to clients, right? I understand it from their perspective. It's not disconnected in the way we understand. So you just get a feel for that. And I think one good thing about me, right, is it's also interpersonal relationships. I mean, we both do it. We build a relationship with our clients. That's kind of why they love to work with us.
yeah.
We're there through it. And yeah,
What's the importance of like building interpersonal relationships? Why is relationship building important?
because business, that's what, at the end of the day, that's all that business is, in my opinion, right? I, I'm not concerned, especially because what we're trying to do here is so aligned to a strong mission and strong values that sometimes it's so disconnected from funding and like revenue at the end of the day. Like we always, what we tell some of our clients, right? That the money is not at the forefront of this, right? It's about like what you said earlier, it's bringing your dream vision to life. So that's
Yeah.
why it's so important because, and that kind of care can only be done when it's a relationship. You can only understand what someone actually wants when you take the time to build a relationship, not being disconnected and just viewing it as a business transaction. It's not like that.
No, not at all.
What else do they need to know about us?
I feel like they need to have a bit of a personal touch to us, like for example, I think like why I think for example I have the relevance to be able to do this project is because I think this is not like my first step in entrepreneurship, and not yours either. And I think for the both of us, what we're looking at here is a consolidation of our previous efforts, trying different things, and coming together to do something we believe will work. You know, we have curated at this point, and we've received awards for being at this stage. For example, like for myself, I've been nominated for the final challenge of the entrepreneurship challenge at the University of Twente. You know, that's my skin in the game. I haven't just come here and started a new business with no idea what I'm doing. There is some sort of accolade you could say of some sort for me to be here, and I was also the second most entrepreneurial person at my university towards the end of the year. So when I say that, I'm saying that like I'm not coming from a place of just being anyone who wants to do it. It's someone that's people have acknowledged that we have put effort into different things, and we use that to spin new businesses, and this is the version of that.
Oh
And
yeah.
I know Gareth as well has that expertise as well, and he can elaborate on that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's all about the skin in the game. But it was funny. I was laughing. I giggled to myself a bit when you're like, it's not our first rodeo with entrepreneurship per se.
Yeah,
But that just took me down memory lane a bit. Yeah, we are young, but we have been, and we know what it's like for any of our clients who might approach us, who might be starting their journey. We know what it's like to be at the beginning where you don't know where to even start, like what you do first. And we also know the feeling of, failing, having to pivot, seeing what you learn. But one thing
exactly.
that's really good is that every time we've stumbled, right? We've been on, and before this project, we're on very different kind of like parts, right? Entrepreneurial parts, but we both know what it's like to fail, but as long as you learn something from it, right? But back to the awards, quite an exciting
Yeah,
one, right? Quite an exciting
yeah,
one,
exactly.
especially because it's because of the work that we're doing here at Fraction Solution. To put into perspective, what we've been doing has been the inception of this was last year in summer, but Rufara and I were having a bit too much fun during summer that we only started working. We only started working this in September. So let's say our inception is September, but trying to take on clients from a bit later. But
Yeah,
even with that being said, we're already getting recognized. I was recognized under, they partner with the United Nations. They're called the most influential people of African descent. My pad, you can look them up, partnering with the UN. And I was recognized under the category of top 100 under the age of 25 in the into innovators and innovators and entrepreneurship category. So you can see that's already a testament, like what Rufaro was saying, that we've got skin in the game and we know what we're being recognized for some of the efforts that we're doing, right? The really way we're
yeah.
trying to innovate, the way we're trying to change this landscape for people, change it for the underdog, change it for small and medium sized organizations who are keen to do something. So we were really happy for that recognition, but it's definitely it's definitely just the beginning, and I know it won't be the last.
No, for sure, exactly. And that recognition is just a part of yeah, that recognition shows that what we can do.
Yeah.
Like people are noticing what we're doing. It's getting out there, and people are starting to talk to us and say, "Oh, what is it you do actually? Why are you doing it? Can you help us? What do they want from us?" And like this recognition shows that we're actually on the right path in what we're doing.
Mm,
And yeah, as we build more partnerships and build more for namesake, we really do appreciate everyone who takes the time to acknowledge us. Like we don't want to turn this into like a bragging thing, but we're just trying to show that
yeah.
we do know what we're doing.
Yeah. And one thing that I was actually completely unrelated, but one thing that I love is in this era of digital, right? Are we
Yeah.
not possibly the most digital business you can actually find? What what physical thing? I think that is such an inspiration, right? In a time where we're trying to be digital, like businesses trying to go digital, we're not just like encouraging it or saying it for name's sake, but we're also implementing in our own business model, right? And the way we also conduct.
Business.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exactly it. Because we are literally the digital business of the future because we're borderless.
Yeah.
If you actually think about it, we're borderless. We operate outside of borders and we give business that transcends borders. And now you can
Exactly.
look internally and think, wow, my product is finished.
Honestly, because of that, the sky is the limit. But talking about the future,
Yeah.
without disclosing, we can't disclose all everything that we've got under our sleeves. A lot is coming up, right? We're finding new ways. We're always, I don't know how many times a day I drop before a message with a new idea, a new way that we can expand on
New
this,
business.
to deliver better for everyone here, right? But could
Yeah.
you, what are we thinking for maybe if we give it a time, like maybe the next 6 to 12 months? Can you think of what are some of our goals?
So obviously, the biggest goal for us is to develop a system. We want to develop
Yeah,
systems of scale that help us to elevate clients to the level they need to be, and
yeah.
to elevate ourselves to the level we need to be. So right now we're working in a very ad hoc way. We're getting a lot of client requests, and we're turning that into actionable solutions by developing those requests to the developers
Mm,
and we need to now develop that into systems. How do we get that in and produce it and return it to the client or continue maintaining it for the client? And the processes are learned as we discover each step. And that is the main thing that we're going to be working on in the next 6 to 12 months.
mm.
But we obviously have a long-term vision in everything that we do. So maybe Gareth over there, you can elaborate. What's our long-term game? What's the next 5 to 10 years looking like?
Yeah, I'll get to that, but I think I want to touch on that short term part, right? I really like
Wait, yeah, continue. Yeah,
how you came about it with the systems. So
yeah,
we are adding a bit of structure to it, but I sometimes I get a bit iffy when I hear other organizations that start small. They're really good with that personal touch because there's a lot of ad hoc, like we say, right? Then the bigger they grow, it gets a bit
yeah.
detached. They forget what it's like to actually have that relationship. And we are so committed to making sure that's one element of the business that will never change.
Yeah.
If we become a point, if we scale to something that we personally can't handle, like the first expansion that we also look for is those like client relationship managers, right? That's so important to us in making sure that if you work with us, you'll feel like you are only client. Like
Exactly.
we
Yeah,
are that
exactly.
good with the way we work with our clients, the way we work with businesses. So yeah, I just want to highlight that. But in terms of our 5 to 10 years, I when I look at what we've done in so little months, when I think of 5 to 10 years, it gets me very, I almost get goosebumps.
Exactly.
I
Like,
almost
man, like,
get goosebumps. But we're looking to expand, right? We're finding ways to expand, especially on like that consultancy part, right? We're going to get to a point where we have the tools that you need to go from zero to hero, right? Like we've already got stuff like speed to market unlock, but that process, like we give advice, but we don't have the context. Like for example, when someone has an idea, okay, we build the MVP, then we tell them how to test it, but then it's not always easy to just take that away and test it like that. We've got mechanisms we're building that. You're like, okay, I want this, I want to build this, but then maybe the funding, not so sure about that. We also have a way of partner. We're thinking of ways to expand, partner with the right people, right? Get the right contacts, venture capitals, depending on the size, have those kind of contacts for you on hand to know that these are people with the right vision, the innovators, the disruptors, and already bridging that gap. So we want to be an all service that helps businesses like that. So that's one of the ways that I really see us going into it and expanding as we go in the 5 to 10 years. And one thing, one place that's also special to my heart, right, is as we grow, I really want to take Zim talent with us. I want
yeah,
right now we're working with developers with experience, but I really want a situation where we're looking at the youth. We're looking at the youth, we're looking at 18 to 23-year olds, young people who are just as motivated as us, just as ambitious as us, but maybe they don't have the platform, the starting point. Upskilling them,
yeah,
finding ways to partner with some of our universities. University of Zimbabwe, a very good university actually
yeah.
sourcing that talent, finding ways to expand in that way. So honestly, there's so much that we have in the pipeline. There's so much that we're already working on, but obviously we can't go into too much detail about that. But
Yeah.
that's how we're thinking about it.
No, for sure. Like, I really agree. It's the long-term vision.
Yeah,
The pieces will fall into place and we'll have the right partners to achieve strategic scale. It's
yeah,
important.
yeah. But one part that I want to talk about that we're launching soon. Maybe we could tease the listeners a bit.
Yeah, let's give them a little bit of an
Let's
inside.
give me a bit of an insight. Tell us, Rafar, about the referral program that we're thinking of launching soon.
So, yes. So, there's a referral program that we're going to launch because we believe in sharing. What we want to do is that for anyone out there who's really interested in contributing to people's dreams and vision, and they know anyone who has a dream and a vision, but they don't have the budget, maybe they fear the quality, we're asking you to send this out to us, give us a contact information, someone interested in developing a product, and we can make this incentive for you very nice by giving you a nice referral partnership deal. This is part of our initiative to really scoop some deals in and also make it beneficial for anyone who wants to join. We're not just going to ask you to recommend someone to us without making it viable for you. We're
Like
making it a
what
fair
like what we're
agreement.
saying, right? It's the ease of access. We're really finding ways to make it easier for people to access these services, right?
Yeah.
So we want to work it. You literally don't have to go out and actively look for it. It could even be a family member or friend who's like, "Oh, I have this really big idea." All you have to do is just make that connection between us and them. We bring them on as a client, and you already have your cut. Rufaro, is that not free money, essentially?
It's
Is
basically
that not
free
free
money.
money?
Like it's free money.
Can I not sign up for that referral program also?
But the truth is, like, I mean, same,
Uh,
like, same.
because honestly, but yeah, that's a bit of a tease. We'll be launching that soon. We
Yeah,
also, if you do find yourself in a position where you think this is something you could regularly be contributing to because of certain, I don't know, certain your network, your existing network, then please reach out to us. Let's see how we can form that. Maybe we can make it more of a long-term partnership. We're open to that also.
exactly. So yes, that is the essence of the referral program. Reach out to us, come to us with the what you're planning, what you want to do, and anyone out there who also has their dream and vision, please also reach out to us.
Oh
We're
yeah,
open to discussion. We will talk with you for hours on end about what you're trying to do. Don't
yeah,
worry. We this is literally the free part about us is that we will give free digital business consult. We
oh
will
yeah,
talk to you about your business outcomes, what you intend to achieve, how you want to do it, and this is free of charge. And we do this very structured. We talk to you, we outline all your goals, and we put it out there on a map, and we can show you how you can develop your IT strategy or IT business. Uh, and that's our free
yeah,
gift to us.
yeah. One of the things that I realized we didn't discuss, maybe when I was introing it, right? Sometimes when people hear, okay, we offer software at a fraction of the cost, it can feel a bit abstract. So should we bring in some numbers then? Just a few. I like numbers because numbers are stats, and you can't
Yeah.
argue with statistics, right?
Okay,
So
I can shoot some questions. We can talk numbers
yeah,
for sure.
Let's try talk a few numbers then.
Okay. So, for example, there's mobile application development. You
Okay,
know mobile application development.
yeah.
What is the typical cost to develop a mobile application in the UK?
Okay, so mobile apps for anyone who's not familiar, it's split into there's two types of mobile apps generally that people refer to. Mobile apps being something that you download on App Store, Google Play, you get on your phone, right? There's two
Yeah.
there's two main types. There's a native app, right? A native app, you build it using the specific company's software. Like iOS has their own technologies that you gotta use if you're going to build an iOS native app, and Google Play, I mean Android has the same thing, right? So because of
Mhm.
that native app, you've gotta have a cost per app. And our listeners might even shake when I tell them that, but it is probably an average, not probably, it's an average around, there's a range, but I'd say the average is around 100K, £100,000 per app, right?
Exactly.
But to be fair, with the nature of the way it is, and most clients that we get, they don't need native apps because that's for very complex. So maybe if you talk cross platform, which is the one where you can use a single code base and it works on both platforms, which is more doable. This one is in the range of 50,000 to 200,000 altogether for the cost.
And
Now
just a
that's
question there. Is that like is there a difference in like MVP costs or act full product development costs?
Oh yeah, there is, right? If we're looking at MVPs can be slightly cheaper. I'll
Yeah.
actually stick to maybe let's talk more on the cross platform because I think that will be more applicable for our users, right? We won't scare them off with the native app numbers. But for cross platform, if you're looking at a cross platform in the UK, we're still talking UK numbers. At the very least, you may be looking at 20K for an MVP, and they'll charge you maybe up to maybe 75K for for an MVP, between 25 and 75 for the MVP.
Yeah. So when you look at that 25 and 25K cost for like an MVP, can we also talk about the new digital things that are out there? Because people talk about no code tools and also things like progressive web apps that make things cheaper. How much would it be like, for example, to develop like a progressive web app as well?
Yeah, progressive web apps are really good. For anyone who doesn't know what a progressive web app is, it's like the way I like to describe it is you have a website over here, right? You go Safari, you go Google Chrome, whatever your preference is, your search engine, you look for it there. Then on the other side, you have the mobile apps I was just discussing, the ones you download. A progressive web app is right in the middle there, where it coins features from the both of them. Some of the features to highlight are push notifications, so it's still available on the web, but you can add it to your home screen to now be perceived as essentially like a mobile app, right? So which means you can enable push notifications, you can have an offline version, that kind of thing. That I thought the context would be important there. But in terms of the numbers for that, typically you can expect with an MVP for a progressive web app, you'll be looking at minimum, I would say 8,000, and you're looking at on the upper bound, you're looking at about 20,000, and that's just for an MVP, right?
Yeah,
That's just for an
exactly.
MVP. So you can see we're still talking very high numbers. When you start looking at the full cost of a progressive web app, you're now looking more of the range of like 10,000 to 40,000. Very
Yeah.
big numbers. Then, but what the beauty is, right?
Mm.
We threw a lot of scary numbers. I hope we don't. We'll need to look at the analytics about how many people might have actually just left over there, being
You're like,
like, "Why is
why?
software so
Why am I
expensive?
even listening to this?
Why is software so expensive?" But what we say, of course, that's what we're gonna get at is that us at Fraction Solutions, we're eating up the market share now, and we're so competitive because depending on the nature of the project, the size, all that kind of stuff. But based on what we've been delivering, we're able to offer 40 to 70% cheaper than what's typically offered in the UK. Before, I think you might need to repeat that because I don't think people think maybe they didn't hear me properly, right?
Like, listen, this is not a joke. Now, obviously, we do not want to sacrifice quality in any way. We got to make this important. We're not sacrificing quality by dropping this cost, but it is literally 40 to 70% cheaper to develop your product through us, whilst maintaining the quality, might I say.
I love it. Yeah, those numbers. It's always good to bring in numbers, right? It can feel a bit abstract when you just say we or a fraction of the cost. What does that really mean? So numbers
Yeah.
highlighted a bit that it's proven stuff also. If you go look at the numbers, go look at the numbers, go look at it online. We've done our extensive market research before we even launched, right? Before we even
Yeah.
launched, we already knew what the kind of setting, the kind of environment that we're going into. Very comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think that's like a super good point, and that's like our main selling point. Like it's not it's, so it's quality plus the cost. These are our selling points.
Yeah.
We will give you what you want and how you want it, and it will be delivered exactly as you expected it to be.
Yeah.
What are some of the added benefits of Fraction Solutions and Zimbabwe? I feel like we didn't really mention the fact that we're in the same time zone, you know, as most of our clients. Hello?
Wait, I didn't quite catch that. Sorry, I dropped out.
Oh yeah, no, calm. I was saying, um, we're in the same time zone as a lot of our clients. Why is that an added benefit to compared to outsourcing to, for example, the Philippines or India or something like that?
Yeah, because we're always awake when our clients are awake, right? Our response times are
Yeah,
amazing. Clients reach out to us, we get back to them right away. We always have regular updates. It's the way we work. So between Rufara and how hard we work, unfortunately there's very little sleep. So but it works out nicely for our clients because we work so
yeah,
interchangeably. We bring such different skill sets. That's what I love about working together. Also, we bring such different skill sets, but we work so interchangeably that if there's a concern that's normally aligned to your forte, I can pick it up and you can do the same for me. and it's been working perfectly. So our clients know that we're always available, we're always able to answer their questions, always to get able to give an update, and we work so collaboratively and so smoothly that we make sure that all through the software development process, they're getting exactly what they want. I don't know if you have more to touch on there. I was actually about to ask something relevant to the software development, right?
Yeah, I mean, like on that point, like actually in real time, this happened in real time. Like this is not even a fake story. I was literally sitting with the client. They pointed something out to me on one of the projects we're working on. They were like, I don't like this and this. Could this change? I communicated that with our developers literally at that moment. Within the next 15 minutes, that problem was fixed. And
Yeah.
they were like, whoa, you did that? Like, what? And I was like, because that's how we work. We're not playing around. We're actually saying to you, if you ask us for something, in that moment, we take it up as a serious issue. We take it in, put it to the developers, and the developers, if they're working on it at that moment, they'll fix it.
I can 100% and no argument tell you that you will not get that from 95%. I would actually argue probably even 99.9% of UK software development companies. They just don't know how to
Yeah,
provide a service like we do, a service where we really connect to the customer. And I love it about us.
yeah.
We've got that part.
Customer.
So
Yeah, yeah. Tell us, tell
yeah,
us.
yeah, I was gonna say, so if someone is has really enjoyed this like this podcast and they think to themselves, okay, so what do I have this project? Is this something that they do? What do they actually do? Because while we're talking about, we also didn't cover the kind of projects that, or maybe let me say the sectors that we go for, right? So I thought maybe I'll take the time to name a few. You can let me know if there's any that we need to elaborate on, right?
No, fair enough. Please go ahead.
So we've got, as we've mentioned, we've already got the mobile app development, which right now is a very popular one. But more popular than that, coming up right now, is a very buzzword of AI and data analytics. We've got that too, right? We're working on a lot of projects. We're working with clients who already have existing projects also, existing products who are also just keen on integrating AI and really seeing what that means for their business. So we're doing that same story. We offer that 40 to 70% cheaper than what UK clients generally be able to offer. We have web application development. So for your websites, for anything that you want that will be on a web browser, we've got that covered for you also. For these are also the very interesting cutting edge projects where we look at custom software development, right? This one I can't really pin it to anything. It's because the client will come to us to set requirements, and this is also where it gets exciting, the consultancy, where we can really bring it to life and we see the tech stack, we see what's needed, we see how it's going to look in terms of custom software project. That's also a
Yeah.
very big one that we do. And the two other kind of like domains to highlight are cybersecurity. That's a big one, especially in the UK. Data is a big thing, protection of it, and the measures that are needed. We've got that. We have specialists in that. And probably lastly, the one that I probably need to cover is the cloud-based solutions, right? A lot of our development it's happening in the cloud. We work with mainly AWS, also Azure, so we can tailor it. No, we can tailor it based on what works best for the client, but we also like our solutions on the cloud, so it works perfectly. I don't know if there's anything I missed or anything we need to really
That
elaborate.
was like well elaborated on, if I'm being very honest.
Yeah,
Like it's a full suite of all our services that you just mentioned, and we can deliver on
yeah.
most, if not all of them.
Oh yeah, 100%. We haven't had a situation, not to boast, but we haven't had a situation yet. We haven't had a situation yet where a client has brought a problem to us, like a request to us, like something that they want implemented, like whether it's a project feature, whatever, at any point, and we haven't been able to deliver.
Yeah,
And I would say if anyone's listening to this and they think they do have something so challenging, try us. Try
Try
us and
us.
see. Yeah, for
You have
sure.
nothing to lose. We literally free consultants first and then develop later.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like to wrap up, and to just bring it to its conclusive end. Maybe a bit of a personality thing, just to give them a little bit of a feel of who we are outside of this. What's your favorite podcast, Gareth?
I honestly, there's no, oh, I'm embarrassed to say how much I like it, but it's the Diary of the C of a CEO.
Man, you stole the one I was going to say. Like, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, honestly, and what for both of us, right? A lot of the stuff.
Yeah,
Shout out to Stephen Bartlett. We probably
for
won't
real.
even see this. If he does, wow,
I hope he
that's
does. I
big.
really hope he does
So
because
shout out to Stephen Bartlett, but a lot of what we're doing, like the practice, is just based on the guests that he's brought on. Shout out to the guests also, but like so
yeah,
much of what we've learned and the way we're approaching business is through that. Because I always say it, knowledge is power, right? You don't know what you don't know, right? If
yeah,
you don't know that, you don't know it. So knowledge is power, and
exactly,
I really
exactly.
enjoy the diary of a CEO because it's just empowered us in that way, in both lifestyle, business, and everything, right?
Yeah, no, completely agree. I think the Diary of a CEO is like it's like a digital book.
Yeah.
It's
So
every episode and podcast I've listened to has taught me something, and
yeah.
I take those lessons into this business that we're doing.
Yeah, so since I stole the podcast, then tell us, Rafara, I know you're a bit of a reader also, so tell us
Yeah.
maybe what are some of your few favorite books?
I won't touch on all my favorite books, but one of my favorite books ever is The Code of the Extraordinary Mind
Okay.
by Vishen Lakhiani.
Yeah.
He talks about breaking the barriers that we set on ourselves in culture, business, relationships. It has helped me in expanding my mind to the possibilities of what can be done because we often put ourselves into boxes, and he talks a lot about breaking out of those boxes and setting up new realities for yourself, and that is the only way you can really achieve the next level of success, not only for myself but for anyone I work with. I have to be able to understand that the box can be limiting. Let's remove the box and see where we end up.
Yeah. Oh wow. I really
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that brings us to a conclusive end. Thank you for
Very
tuning in to Fraction Solution Podcast.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks everyone. This is the first of many, but this one is just to give a bit more context on who we
Who
are,
we are.
what we're doing here. Other
Exactly.
podcasts are gonna be deeper dives, you know. You can let us know in the comments also if you have specific things you want to hear about. That's anything related to tech, but also related to outsourcing or digital Africa, digital business. These are kind of the topics that we are quite good at, and that's kind of the content that's going to be coming next. So stay tuned.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Cool.